What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Tyrant 10, where we bring you industry news and some helpful information you may be interested in 10 minutes or less. So today, let's start with some of that news. One ATF is coming hard for your braces. Go fill out the form online to tell them no. Nevada has done some weird 80% or make your own pistol ban at this point, which who knows if that's going to hold up in the court. Definitely something to keep your eye on because that could spread to other states. Ammo shortages are still with us, and some of the ammo we're getting just flat out sucks. Like my case in point, that steel casing right there from Wolf, where I pretty much figured out how to turn any AR-15 into a muzzle loading musket. One round, rotted off range because it failed to extract, and then go on to the next one because the casings are just way out of spec. Now, in all of that, there is some good news. Texas has signed constitutional carry along with several other states. Texas also went the extra mile to say that if the suppressor is made in Texas, you don't have to get a tax stamp. Love me some Texas. I can get on board with that. Hopefully that will follow suit, proving that federalism is still alive and states' rights should reign supreme. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the meat and potatoes of today's video. There's going to be a couple things. First of which being 3 reasons why you need to get yourself a micro or a slimline compact, something like the 43 right there in that sexy gray. Again, rocking that Tyrant extension to give me a couple more rounds. Or you can get yourself the 43X, a little bit better of an option. Or you can go the full Monty with a 43X MOS. Now, there are 3 big reasons why I say you should get one of these is, 1, they're slim, easy to carry, concealable pretty much anywhere. 2, less weight on your belt, on your line, because if you're like me living in Arizona, 115 degrees, last thing you want is to be carrying even a compact or a full-size rig on you. And the 3rd reason, which is why a lot of people stay away from some of that smaller stuff, they're just not that harder to shoot than compacts or full-size. You just need to hold on to the thing and practice your fundamentals. Now we're gonna bleed right into the second portion, which is gonna be talking about triggers and gaining a little bit of performance. This is the new Tyrant trigger specifically for those slim lines. And what I wanna go ahead and show you is how you achieve better take up and reset with a trigger shoe over the factory one, because it's really not that, I guess, difficult or in depth. You've got to get your geometry right, but it's a very simple fix to get rid of all that slop in the trigger with one simple remachining of how that trigger bar gets in there. Look at all that slim line right there. Take a look at that thing. Just look at the size of that, how easy that is to carry around with you, the 43X, or even that 43. Imagine without the magazine extension in there. Barely just as thick as my finger. Just a lot of easy carrying out there. So talking about turning anything into a musket right there. Look at that gnarly eaten up round right there. Wolf steel ammo. Probably never use it again. Just not worth the time out there. Well, let's talk about these triggers and how we get performance out of a trigger shoe, because some people may not know this. Now, we all know that that hole right there is for your trigger pin, which keeps the trigger and the trigger bar in there. But what most people don't know is where a lot of the performance is gained out of a Glock trigger is that edge right there, that little slit in there where the trigger bar actually fits in. Now, as you change the angle in there where the trigger bar makes contact with that top portion of it right there, that is going to give you a reduced take up. So I've got this trigger bar out of the pistol right now. We're going to go ahead and talk about that. So as that trigger pin is in there and that trigger bar is in there, when you pull the trigger right here, it pushes the trigger bar back. Get a hold of this. So as you pull it, pushes that trigger bar back, right? So if you get a less aggressive angle in there and that trigger bar contacts that part a little bit sooner, what that does is it pushes that trigger bar back a little bit further than it is from the factory. Now what that accomplishes is it gets rid of some of that gnarly take up in the Glock triggers that we are used to. So if you think about it, look at all that pre-travel before you hit the wall, and then even after you hit the wall, you've got a ton of slop, and then it breaks. So one more time for you guys. You got that take up, slop, and a break, okay? So just by making that little adjustment inside that portion of the trigger shoe, you can gain a lot of performance. Let's go ahead, wrap this video up. All right, well, that is what I have for you today. I hope you guys like learning a little bit about that two-way news, a little bit about why you need a slimline, and a little bit about how the geometry in that trigger shoe changes how that trigger reacts in a pistol. Make sure you guys get subscribed, turn the notification icons on, and leave us a comment down below on what Tyrant part you are looking at to put on your next build. You guys have some fun out there, and I will see you guys on the next one.